Hello all, we are going over some stretching routines. Actually, one stretching routine that you can do either when you wake up, after a rung, maybe you're doing it before you go to bed, if you're feeling tight in general. This is a great routine to just practice all the time and do all the time. I find it to be very helpful for me in my running and just everyday life. So follow along if you like. I also have a flyer that's going to go along with this, so reference that. The first thing I like to do is swing my arms up side to side. So I'll do this just to warm up, especially if you're doing it in the morning, you want to do it more than probably midday because your arms are usually somewhat open up by then. But right now I'm just gonna do a few more times back and forth, probably average about 20 total. And of course, this is just warming us up. So it's getting that joint to lubricate. It's getting those circulation into that joint just to move it up and down. Then as I go to one side, I'll push it up and then rotate it back. And then same thing the other side. You'll see that I kind of just create a movement with my arm and have the dowel guide that hand back and around, back and forth. And of course, while I'm doing this, I'm keeping my core strong, keeping my positioning even. I have a nice wide stance, so I'm nice and secure, okay? So back and forth just like that. This shouldn't take very long. This actually feels really good to me right now, so that's why I'm continuing. Do one more on each side. Follow along with me if you want. Then we're gonna bring it down to our thighs, rise it up above our head, squeeze behind our shoulders. Now, this is where a lot of people will experience tightness, especially in their neck or their shoulders or their chest. So if you're a person that when you do this, you have to bring your head forward to get back here, then just don't go as far and just get this motion. Try to keep your core nice and strong and don't bend at your back, okay? So nice and tall and strong. A few more here, then we're gonna let it fall down on our shoulders, and then now we're gonna kind of open up our chest even more by adding a little rotation and getting that spinal rotating muscles. So we're working all the internal oblique muscles, internal abdominal muscles as we keep our knees bent, exhaling as we go to the side. Good, and then as I come back to center, bring that dowel up. I'm gonna bring it down to the floor. I'll back up a little bit because I have to have mine on the ground. I'm gonna push the dowel in front of me. So if you're looking at a side view, I'm about a foot away from the top of my feet, pushing it out. Actually, maybe I'll go a little bit farther out. I'm gonna go here and then push my butt back. Did you see that? Okay, I'm straight head. I'm gonna push that butt back. My arms are gonna follow to create a straight back. The one thing I don't want you to do is when you go forward, you're gonna round that back. So many people do this. See that curve in my spine? That's not natural, and that's gonna cause a lot of pain in your back. So instead, push your butt back first, and then continue. Maybe you're right here, and that's where you feel it. That's okay, but straighten out those legs, and feel the stretch in your hamstrings. When you're here, you can just hold it. If this disturbs your shoulders, you can hold the dowel a little bit lower so you're not so much tension in your shoulder joint. But if not, you're holding it nice and strong and straight, and then you can add a little side-to-side movement, back and forth, getting the inner thighs to open up. So if I'm gonna go in front here, I'm in a wide stance, pushing it out, straight forward, fold, and side to side, opening up the inner thighs. Good, and I'll just do this a few times to open up, then I'll come back out, and then I do what I call a stir the pot with the dowel. And so I'm just really opening up my lats, opening up my back and shoulders as I bend forward and come around. So breathe in, exhale as you go around. Breathing when you stretch is really important in order to get the oxygen to those muscles to trigger them to relax. But you'll get used to that as you get going. And then of course switch the other way. Don't ever just do one-sided. You don't want to be lopsided. You also don't want to train that one side to do that certain habit. It's the same thing when we're driving the car. You know, so many people experience pain in the left leg because that left leg is just hanging out on the side, and this is off track, but your left leg is always sitting like this, and the right leg is pressing the brake, gas pedal, And so this knee can kind of get some soreness in there. Same thing with exercises like this. You want to make sure you go the same amount each side, and you're really trying to keep it even, keeping that full rotation so you get that full range of motion. Good. Okay, forward, side to side, stretch. Okay, now we're going to bring it onto the chair. You can put the dowel down. I do like to use the dowel for balance at times, but because we have a chair in our little routine here, I'm going to just set it in front here so you can kind of see it in the corner. You're going to get into a runner's lunge. So that top leg's going to come up on your step. I like to kind of bounce back. Some people will start really far away and then step onto it. I personally like to come nice and close and then step back into it. And then you are trying to find that spot where you're feeling that hip to open up. Now, the one thing that is crucial here is the first thing is getting that heel to fall down to feel the stretch in your calf and your hamstring. And then that's when you kind of let that hip fall down a little bit on this side. When you're here, you can kind of open up for a side twist and feel it all the way up this side of your body. Breathing in, exhaling out. Good. And I would probably stay a little bit longer in each of these stretch, but just because I'm showing you quickly, we're going to skip right through the long 60-second hold here. Again, you can get in that position and then turn your body to that side that's open. And then come back to center. Okay. Now, the other piece to this is you can go into a little hamstring stretch. Keep your foot on the chair and feel that hamstring. Hold it here. And pretend we're getting to 30 seconds, and then you want to bend again. So then you get into like more of a dynamic movement, going in and out to open those hips and feel that length as you push back and you come forward. Good. All right, now, after that, I like to bring the chair up in front, or I'll just sit on it wherever it is. And we're going to get into that piriformis stretch. You can do this on the ground. I'll show you with a chair just because it's the easiest and most accessible. So you're going to let that foot come right on the top of your knee. I am very mobile here. So a lot of people actually might be right here. And that's okay. That's where you're starting out. But your objective is trying to get this knee down to open that hip, bring your chest up nice and tall. And that way you feel a little bit of a pull back here in your glute. If you're not feeling that, then maybe you're a little bit more hypermobile and you can sit forward, bring that chest forward and hold it. I'd show you another version of this, but we're only going to go through this routine. So you want to hold for about 30 seconds here, and then you will switch over to the other side. Same thing, I'm going to let this ankle just kind of relax, let my leg relax, and then use my arm to kind of push and keep my spine nice and straight. As you can see, I'm not rounding and pulling over. I'm keeping my back nice and tall and leaning forward like that. Good, okay, and then the last one, actually I'll show you two more, is a little bend in the chair. So I grab onto the back of the chair, grab onto the side, and try to twist behind me. Trying to look behind that shoulder as best I can, and then switching over to the other side, looking behind that shoulder, getting a nice big twist and holding that move. It's really good to take some deep breaths while you're in this position, because if you can imagine, the air that needs to come into your lungs has to force in there because you're twisting and creating less space for it to flow. So that's actually going to cause a little bit more of a stretch in the sides of your body. And then when you come back, you feel nice and relieved. Last thing is a little side bend stretch back and forth that I like to do. That's another example. And then you can end it with a good little neck rotator. But be very careful with your neck muscles because they can be very sensitive. So there is your stretching protocol. And you know, take this as you want. Get rid of ones that you don't really use or ones that you don't find benefit your body. Each of us is very different, so we can, you know, get rid of, add some, and figure out what's best for us. So have fun with it. Keep stretching, keep moving. I'll talk to you soon.